Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Sorry for a really long time since another video. I've just been so busy, and today I've got a 4-day weekend, so I have some time to pump out a video for you guys. And I've got a really cool one. This is an overview of my PowerBook G4 15-inch. It's the 1.67 gigahertz model. It is almost the fastest one ever made. The processor is the best, but the graphics are not, and it doesn't have the high resolution display. And whenever I first got this computer about a year ago, yes, I've had this year and it's never been on camera, I was like, yes, this is the fastest one ever made. And then I went on Mac Tracker, realized it wasn't, and I was a little bit disappointed. But either way, this is still a very nice machine. It's in pretty okay condition. Honestly, most of the condition issues with it are my fault. I got a little bit of story time behind this laptop. So I got this laptop from a friend of my mom's at work. Very generously given to me by them. It's a really nice machine. And I had the computer, and it was great. When I first got it, the battery didn't work, so I immediately got a brand new battery for it. Battery works, but not really. It's just one of the cheap ones. And the machine had a battery for a while. The battery does still work, but not very well. But anyway, the next part of the story is I had this computer sitting on a filing cabinet. In fact, that filing cabinet was right up there, but it's not there anymore. And my bed used to be over here, but my bed's not there anymore. But I had my MacBook in the floor. This MacBook here, the one that's being used to record the audio. And I went to pull the cord. I thought I was pulling the cord for the MacBook, but I actually wasn't. And I knocked this off the filing cabinet about 3 foot onto the floor, and it hit like this in the power jack while it was plugged in. So the cord was totally destroyed, and the machine was not working for months because I just didn't have time to get it working. So I bought a new power cord, a really cheap one. The thing still didn't work. It had a nasty dent in the side, which I have. I mean, it's not bad. I've got it better, but it's definitely there. It's more scrape than anything. It's not bad, but it was terrible. And the machine did not function. So I had taken it apart and cleaned out the entirety of the inside, took it all apart, put it back together. Actually, it sat on the desk for probably about 2, maybe even 3 weeks, totally disassembled. But then I finally found some time to put it all back together through a ridiculous iFixit guide. I lost a lot of the screws, most notably all the ones on the back. I found 2 screws that fit that aren't original. This screw here is missing. 3 out of the 4 of the screws on the RAM door are not the same, and the screws under the battery aren't there. And also, I can't figure out why. I've tried to fix this, but this plastic panel here does not sit flush. But either way, the thing works, which I'm sure most of you knew it did, because if you didn't notice, it is in sleep mode. But it's just, I'm gonna open this up, and I just want to do a little overview of it. The inside looks pretty nice. Whenever I got it, it was running Tiger, but I updated it to Leopard. I think it needs a new clock battery, because every single time I boot the machine up, it forgets the Wi-Fi settings as well as the time. Time's actually correct, but the Wi-Fi, it always forgets the Wi-Fi. Also, the display, I think it might be starting to go. It's at full brightness right now. And also, it takes forever for the bottom portion to heat up. Like if I open up System Preferences or something like that here, you can see it looks fairly white and okay there, but whenever I bring it down there, it is very dark. I think that's coming across pretty well on camera, actually. So there's it there, and there's it there. So it takes a little bit of time for the screen to heat up, but after that, it's fine. But while it's booting up, I think I'm just going to show you the specs. Like as I said, it's a 1.67 gigahertz PowerPC G4, a really nice system. It has 1.25 gigs of RAM. Whenever I got it, it had 2, but I actually thieved one of the 1 gig sticks in here from it. because I needed it for a old HP machine that I was selling. It had 256 meg sticks, and I just couldn't sell it with that for any reasonable amount of money, so I took one of the 256 meg sticks out of here, out of that HP, and put it in here. Took the 1 gig stick and put it in there. So that machine was sold with 1.25. Now this has 1.25. I'd really like to get some more RAM for it, but oh well. Also, you've probably noticed that the screen has gotten quite a lot brighter now. For graphics, I forget what it has. It's got the why is it not saying the actual graphics card? Oh, Mobility Radeon 9700 with 64 megs of VRAM. The better one, the high resolution one. This is not the high resolution 2015, or why did I try to say 2015? This is not the high resolution PowerBook G4, but it's still a really cool computer. The screen resolution of this thing is actually 1280 by 854. It's a really weird resolution, but I guess it could be considered HD. It's basically the 16 by 10 version of 720p, so I guess it's not that weird of a resolution. It's just not something you see all the time. So like I said, it's running Leopard. Let's just connect it to the internet every single time. Oh wow, remember the password. That's unusual. Okay, that's cool. So let's just talk about this machine. I've had this for quite some time. It's only been up and running correctly for probably about the past 6 months, but I mean, it works now, which is really all that matters. The display seems to be heated up correctly now, so now it's not dark at the bottom. It's a little bit dark, but it's okay. I really am worried that this thing's going to die on me, and whenever that happens, I'm totally going to have to get a new one. Also, the battery only charges whenever it wants to. I don't think that's a problem with the machine. I think it's actually a problem with the bad battery. But anyway, let's just talk about some stuff with this computer. So, this in particular one, well, let me get some information on this so that I can actually tell you things about it and not be lying. Okay, so this is a PowerBook G4 15-inch at 1.67 gigahertz. It's got an 80 gig hard drive. I'm planning on upgrading that to a 100 gig. I have a 100 gig around, but it's just a matter of getting it all together. And I really don't want to reinstall Leopard on here because I got a bunch of applications on here that were really hard to track down and just a good install on here. It's got a slot loading drive on the front, which I think is really cool because if it's sitting on a desk, you can have all your cords on the side and this on the desk and just put the discs in the front, which is really cool. Whenever it originally retailed for $2,300, this thing cost $2,300 whenever it was new. Let's see, what else do we have here? It's got a multi-touch trackpad, so you can scroll with it. Let's talk about some ports. That's something that's really, really cool about these older machines. Right here, you've got a Kensington lock, a USB 2 port, Firewire 400, Firewire 800, Gigabit Ethernet. Yes, this thing has Gigabit Ethernet on a laptop from 2005. This thing was actually released in January of 2005, if I am not mistaken. Yes, January of 2005. We got S-Video, as well as a DVI output, which is really cool. There's no need for having to have a different any adapters to hook a screen up, unless you're trying to hook up HDMI to this thing. On the subject of HDMI, that is actually something I have done, and it works fine. We got nothing here. We got more goodies on this side. We've got the power in, 56K modem, because that's what this computer's from. Another USB 2 port, audio in, audio out, PCMCIA, I believe. We have got my cheap battery, the RAM door, and that's about it. So I'm going to open this thing up, and I'm going to show you some software that I've got on here now. So here's the thing all booted up. Let's just go through the docs. So I've got Virtual PC Start menu here. I've got the dashboard. Sorry for the cut, guys. I was just trying to get my mic situated. There's really nothing of interest in here, just weather, calculator, that sort of thing. The animation's very smooth on here, which is cool. We got mail, it's not set up. We got Safari here. This is the latest official version of Safari, which was released in 2011, 5.0.6. So they kept Safari going on these things for quite a while, actually, in my opinion, because, I mean, this operating system quit getting updates in 2009, so it's not like they they didn't really ever go Intel only with Leopard whenever they dropped support. They didn't drop support for PowerPC and then continue support for Intel on Leopard. Whenever they dropped support for applications on Leopard, they just dropped everything. I can't really think of any exceptions. Here we've got 10.4 Fox. If you're running a PowerPC Mac, this is a really great web browser. It gives you basically the guts of the modern Firefox, with a few exceptions. It's not completely modern Firefox, but it is very much a modern version of Firefox. Look, there's an update available, and I just got on this computer like a couple of weeks ago and updated 10.4 Fox. So it's basically, I forget the version. I'll put in the version of Firefox here that this really is based off of, but it's basically that version of Firefox that keeps getting security updates. And also it is compatible with HTML5. Not that it actually works very well, but as you can see, it's a modern web browser. We've got the new Google look. I can go to a website such as eBay, and it's going to load up in a reasonable amount of time. And there's eBay. So let's just get out of there. Next we've got Spotify. Very sad. Actually, this is the last version of Spotify that runs on PowerPC Macs. And unfortunately, it does not work anymore, which is really unfortunate. If you go to the radio and you try and play some music, it just says that it's offline, which is really unfortunate. This worked literally less than a month ago, and I used to use this computer for Spotify quite a lot, but unfortunately that no longer works. However, iTunes does work. Also, 10.4 Fox, back to it not being really the latest version of Firefox. The Spotify web player doesn't work, but anyway, here we have iTunes. This is the best version of iTunes in my opinion. It still has the sidebar. It's not this silly whatever they're trying to do today with everything on the top. I don't like it. This is how iTunes is meant to be and never should have changed. This is iTunes 10. This is from 2012, so really this is a pretty up-to-date thing now. Unfortunately, it is not going to work with your newer devices. However, I can still sync my iPod Touch 2nd Gen with this computer. And I usually use this iPod with this computer, just because the version of iTunes on here I like better, and it works better on here. And I can put apps on this iPod using whatever that Cydia tweak's called, I forget, that lets you install unsigned apps on there. So there's iTunes. We've got iPhoto. I'm not going to bother with that. It's just your basic iPhoto. We've got Expose, which is basically on a modern Mac when you swipe up with 4 fingers. System preferences here, which I had already shown you, which are basic system preferences. We've got NTFS for Mac OS X installed on here because, well, I use a lot of NTFS drives. Virtual PC. This is pretty cool. I'm only going to show it to you if there's actually a system saved. There we go, we got Windows XP. This is really cool because it lets you run Windows on a PowerPC Mac, which is pretty cool because this is not an Intel processor. It's emulating everything. And it is unbearably slow. I mean, really, I wouldn't recommend using anything above Windows 2000 in this, although Windows XP does work. And sometime as an experiment, maybe that's a future video, I'll attempt to get Windows 7 running inside a virtual PC for Mac on this PowerPC Mac. That would be really, really interesting. So either way, here we are. Here's Windows XP running somewhat on a PowerPC Mac. You can go full screen, and it will resize to be full screen, so this is not something that is supposed to happen. This is Windows XP running on a PowerBook G4, and it really looks like it is actually running on the PowerBook. I have actually used some more modern applications on here, like for example Red Snow. I was trying to do some stuff with Red Snow with this iPod on here, and unfortunately Red Snow is an Intel only application. However, as you can see, it works just fine because it's such a light application. It works totally fine in Windows XP on this Mac. So I'm just gonna close that down and it'll save it. We got Minecraft on here. It does actually run, but I'm not gonna open it because it'll be really slow and take forever. We got Burn here. This is an application I used to use a lot on my MacBook Air back in the day to make video DVDs. You can even use to make a VCD. That's cool. I didn't realize that. I'll have to experiment with that. But I used it to make DVD videos a lot. Actually, I also for a while, whenever I used to use this actually after El Capitan was released, because I used to burn disk images with this using the copy section, because let's just face it, disk utility and everything past El Capitan is hopeless. We got Activity Monitor, we got Word. There's nothing exciting there, just Word Mac 2008. I got Final Cut Pro on here. This is, I believe, Final Cut Pro like 8. No, Final Cut Pro 6. Excuse me. So this is the academic version, but I mean, it's what I was able to track down online. I don't have on here everything, but I have downloaded all the plugins and everything that came with the crazy disc set. I mean, here's some pictures of what the disc set for this looked like, but absolutely crazy. Ooh, cool, there's a project in here. This is I believe 1080p video. This is in the Apple Intermediate codec, but as you can see, it runs great. The cross dissolve that's unrendered there, but look at that, there's Final Cut Pro 6 running in HD video on a PowerBook G4. This is just so old school. We got iMovie HD. In my opinion, it's not the greatest version. Some of you might hate me, but it's just not, in my opinion. Because, I mean, I'm just used to the newer versions. Because I started out using, I believe, iLife 010, iLife 11. I started off on iLife 11. The version of iMovie inside of iLife 11 was like my first taste of video editing on Mac. My first taste of video editing was actually really in the version of Windows Movie Maker that came with Windows 7. It was on my Toshiba NV255 netbook. It was my first computer, and this is what it looked like. It was really good for me at first, but it was also really, really bad. But yeah, that was my real first taste of it. Video editing was with the version of Windows Movie Maker and Windows Live Essentials 2009, so yeah. Oh boy, we've been rambling on for 20 minutes. We got iDVD. I actually used this version of iDVD on my MacBook Air for quite some time to make DVDs. In fact, I'd still probably use it if I made video on my Mac, because I mean, I really like this version of iDVD. That's enough of that. And I've also got GarageBand, the version in iLife 08. I really plan to put this in my basement and hook it up to my keyboard down there and use this as a GarageBand PC. It just never happened, but either way, it works on here, so I can open up a new project. Let's just get the virtual piano opened up. There we go, keyboard. Okay, I found it. So as you can see, there is a keyboard here. I really am not that great playing anything on the keyboard. I do music. I actually play a trumpet, and I play mallet percussion as well a little bit. So honestly, me learning to play the keyboard would be very, very, very easy, and it's ridiculous. I don't know how. There's no excuse, but there we go. That's the most of my... There we go. That's what I could come up with to play off the top of my head. So there we go. There's GarageBand. It works great on here. I have a USB MIDI keyboard in the basement that I could hook it up to, and it'd be really cool. Let's just quit out of Virtual PC. So there we go. That is my PowerBook. I really want to upgrade the hard drive in this thing because, well, it just is not big enough. There's 17 gigs available. I guess it's big enough. I'm not too worried about it right now. I mean, I don't use this a lot, but 17 gigs is just not a whole lot. You can see this thing loads up pretty quick. There's some stuff on here. I got Halo on here, so I mean, maybe I could play that. Any other cool apps on here? I think all the cool stuff's on there. Oh, I got Internet Explorer, the Mac version, on here just for a laugh. Internet Explorer 5.2 for Mac from 2001. It's just funny. There you go. It works. It loads MSN, kind of. Anything else interesting? We got Minecraft, Nestopia, so you can play some Nest games. MPEG Streamclip, I use this on here to convert H.264 videos into the Apple Intermediate Codec to basically allow them to be playable and work on here. Another really cool app on here is actually something that any of you who have a Mac should really do and find online. It's called Core Player. It basically literally lets you be able to play 1080p video or 720p HD video on here. So I'm just gonna view full screen. This is not my video that I have loaded up in here right now, so unfortunately I can't play it, but there we go. Because I really don't feel like getting done in for copyright, because YouTube is just a wreck whenever it comes to that. If you play 2 seconds of anything, they will shut your channel down. It is just ridiculous. Yeah, that's really about it. It's a really nice machine. The keyboard on these things, even though some people say they're the best keyboard ever, I mean, I like the keyboard on here, but it's just not my favorite. I personally think that the best keyboard ever, and a lot of you are probably going to hate me for this, is the chiclet keyboard on the newer Macs. I just think that the keyboards on those things are fantastic. So, here's Word Mac. This is me. The Word is honestly something that runs bad on here. Oh, I can't type. I can't type with the tripod is literally right here. I mean, I just can't type at this angle. This is the angle I've been doing the whole video at. Okay, here's you guys. You get the good seat. I'm right here. Here's my Mac. I have Mac Tracker open with some information as well as recording audio. I just can't type. Let me try that again. Yeah. There we go. We can make it big. There you go. I think that's going to conclude this video. It has been going on way too long. This video is up to about a half hour. Just of me rambling on about a PowerBook G4. This is a really cool computer, and as you can see, it actually runs really well. I mean, there is really not a whole lot of hesitation on anything. I mean, it's a pretty quick computer. I mean, it really is. There's not much you can say about it. Yes, it's old. I love this computer. Until I try and play a YouTube video, I love this computer. But YouTube, no, it doesn't work. It's just really cool. I was really excited to have got this, especially for free. That being said, I've put money into it with this cheap power adapter mostly, but that was my fault because I dropped it. But anyway, I was really upset that day. But that is going to conclude this video. Way too long, but I hope y'all enjoy because it's been a really long time since I've put out a video. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you hopefully within the next month, and not within the next however long it's been. So, alright, thanks for watching. Goodbye. We're really done now.